How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Loose Cannons. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. As always, we're back in the building after each and every game. Like, hype, subscribe. Individual channel links in the description below. You know, man, you're here now. Make sure you're subscribed. You should know Jordan and James's by now, or both James' channel by now. They're in the description too. But listen, there's always a special guest on the show, and we've got another special guest after a W as well, where, you know, this is why the feeling that there's a smile on our faces, but we're going to delve more into it. And we've got the perfect guest for it, the perfect person to have on board for this one. Deluded Gooner in the building. What are you saying, Deluded?
I'm good, man. Love for having me. Big up the panel. Big up the chat. Appreciate it, man.
By popular demand as well. Early pod we did.
Man.
Your name was in the chat. Your name was in the chat from early. So the fans wanted it. We got to deliver. So big up you, man. Big up you.
No, I second all of that. But Jordan, why is your mic so loud again?
Is it loud?
Is it just me?
It was loud.
No?
Is it loud?
Okay, it's just me.
Oh, he's excited.
Bro.
He starts the pod excited. So
Sound like you're like right up to the mic. Like we're so happy.
No, the mic's over there, bro. Nah, I think it's you.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe my speakers have gone nuts.
So you came for me with energy and ends up being that you're the problem, not me.
No, listen, we're going to listen to this back. It's going to obviously be your fault. And what you've done is you just snuck it off camera. But it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, I second what you said, though. Deluded, man. The comments went nuts wanting you. And it wasn't just then. They actually loved when you and I did Talk Sport together. A lot of people say.
We was in the trenches.
Well, no, it was all right. It was Bayern.
Yeah, we was in the trenches, man. You know we got to defend the football club on those platforms, man. Big up
No, but for me in the trenches is being on Talk Sport when Buendia scores in the 95th minute. Like, that was
I avoided that one, man.
That was dark.
Deluded. That was James Webb saying, "Don't mess up the bag. Like, don't sound read the room."
No, we're good, man. We're good, man. James, don't watch that, man.
ITV as well, Deluded. I see that recently as well.
Yeah.
So big up.
Yes, man. Big up you.
Appreciate it, man. You're not making me shy, man. I thought we were just here to speak about Arsenal, man. What an intro, man. Love for that.
First few minutes, obviously. And to be fair to you, when Troops was on, we said one of the originals, and Deluded's actually one of the originals too. In a different way. I remember when I first started doing this thing, Deluded was the one setting pace, and Deluded was the one, you know, supplying the content. No, seriously, the youth stuff. Do you remember those days? I know you remember.
Yeah, the trenches, man. What, the YouTube space when I came to your yard one time, pause. Yeah, man. We've been through a lot, man. The years are flown still.
Supporters club and all that.
Supporters club as well.
No, it is true. When AFT were blowing up, like there weren't many of the kind of like, you know, you had Redmen TV, United Stand, like there were kind of more entities as YouTube channels. That makes sense. And Deluded, you're one of the first independent content creators that I'd ever kind of come across.
So fuck you can, man. No, I can't claim that one, man, but I love it though.
No, one of the first. You can claim that, man. You can claim.
No, it's true. I remember.
Hey, you know what? I'll go with it.
Not a lot. Honestly, guys, this is an absolute true story. Not a lot of people know this. Yeah, I obviously only renamed my channel The Gooniverse a year or two ago, but the name The Gooniverse came from a uni project I did where I basically wanted to create like a website where I covered Arsenal, talked about Arsenal. And I was working with a guy on it. We built a website and we were talking content strands. And I remember the guy said to me, he was like, have you ever thought of YouTube? There's a guy I watch called Deluded Gooner. That was back in 2019. So like you were doing content back then, right?
Yeah, man. It's been a while, man. I think like 9 years. Next year will be a 10-year anniversary on YouTube.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm glad Turkish also mentioned the ITV World Cup draw last week because I watched that with you, and I know Miles quite well. And obviously Cam's is football family too. And I was really, really proud of all three of you, man. The guy that presented it, I don't know him. I've seen him around before. What's his name? Sorry,
Danny.
Yeah, I don't know him, but big him up as well. But just seeing you three on the sofa on terrestrial TV, I was really happy because I know all three of you. I know Miles really well. I know you. And I know Cam's a little bit as well. Just seeing you guys, the fact that ITV, a terrestrial broadcast channel, saw the value in having you guys on their YouTube stream during that draw was a real coming moment. I mean, I always kind of get a little bit annoyed when I see YouTubers getting overly gassed about being on TV and radio, because what you don't understand is they need you more than you need them. So I always get a little bit like funny when I see you lot getting excited about radio and TV. Because I'm like, yo, you're the currency, bro. Like they need you more than you need them. It looks all glamorous and fame, and I'm on TV, but the reality is, them MFs are going to be out of jobs in the next 10, 15 years when you lot are building your platforms and doing your... Anyway, I was just really happy to see you guys, though, on... Do you know what I mean? On that platform. And
appreciate it, man.
What the boys are saying. Big up your trajectory and your work ethic and your journey, man, because I've seen it and I rate it. So, yeah, blessed to come on.
Thank you, man. Thank you on behalf of them lot as well, George, man, and Cole, of course.
Come on, show him some love, people. Get deluded, road to 100k. Show him some love. It's been a while since we've been on the channel. It's been a while since we've linked up. So make sure you show him some love and subscribe. Let's get him to 70k if we can. A lot of people watch this pod. It's the only pod out this week as well, people. So we're reviewing the Wolves game and we're going to preview the Everton game a little. If anything happens in between, we'll try and do something. But yeah, this is the main one, people. So the next pod will be after the Everton game, unless something pops up. But yeah, channel links, description, like, hype, subscribe. 1,000 likes on the button now. 6 minutes in, why not? And after a win, this is what we can do. We can start the pod relaxed. We can just have a little conversation. We can big up the guest, and rightly so. And then we can get into it all. But it's a weird win. I'm smiling now, but it was a very weird win because it's one that leaves me less confident than after the fact, if that makes sense, which is weird because it's as is coming out of the weekend as it was going into the weekend. But if you couple up our performance against Wolves and Man City's win against Palace, it was just a few weeks ago, it was the other way around. We was coming out of the weekend feeling giddy, feeling like this is our season, and now I'm seeing and hearing City fans feeling the same, feeling like the inevitable is around the corner. So let's get into it all. We did win. It was 3 points. Apologies to start on such a downer, you could call it, but it's not so much a downer. It's more the reality, I think. And let's start with James. James, let's get your opinion the day after the fact, because I saw your match reaction. You felt quite similar. Yeah, you felt quite similar. We had a couple sentences that were literally word for word. Couple of motions literally listed word for word. A day later, after Man City have now smoked Palace, are you feeling any different? Are you feeling better about the result, or are you feeling more concerned considering City?
I had to stress on the match reaction that I was just reacting to the match. Like I wasn't giving a reaction to my thoughts on the title race or how good this team is, because I didn't want one or two, because you can include Villa. You can maybe include this little stretch with Sunderland and Chelsea. I didn't want to let this cluster of games overshadow so much of the good I've seen this season. So I was really kind of, all my emotion and energy was towards that particular result and performance. Sorry, the result was what we wanted, a win. The score, the performance was miles off it. In a weird way, I'm quite glad people saw how I'd react to that kind of performance, because I think when we drew to Sunderland and when we drew to Chelsea, and I was giving the team the benefit of the doubt a lot, I think people really might have just thought, you're just taking the positive route, James. You're just being positive. You're just saying it because, ultimately the team's had a good season and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the good stuff. But I really said the positive things I said after Sunderland, after Chelsea, because I meant them. I really meant the positives that I saw from those games. After this win, if I really wanted to play the positive game, let's say, I could have said that's what champions do. You play terribly, you're not on it, you're just, nothing's clicking, and you still find a way to win. Now, I mention that because that's how some people will look at it, but it wasn't anywhere near at the forefront of my analysis. My biggest takeaway from that game was how lethargic we looked, how devoid of ideas we looked, how embarrassing it was that this isn't like a 15th, 16th place Premier League side who are fighting for their lives, who have just brought in Sean Dyche or someone like that, and they're sort of, picking up points, being sturdy and difficult to break down. This is one of the worst pound-for-pound Premier League sides we've ever seen. Maybe at the current rate which they're playing, the worst. And I mean, no disrespect to Wolves, lots of respect to them as a club, what they've done in the league, but that's just factually how they've performed in the Premier League this year. And we really struggled. We really huffed and puffed. And I don't really see any reason why. Saliba was back. He should have been quite fresh. Lewis Skelly came on, played most of the game. He should have been quite fresh. Rice and Eze were restored to the team. Saka didn't start in midweek. Gyökeres had a bit of a layoff, has come back. Martinelli hasn't played too many minutes. So where I've talked about fatigue before, I certainly couldn't talk about it for this game. You can't talk about adversity or anything like that because we cruised in Bruges. We conceded 16 shots on our goal and we still won that game 3-0. So why this Wolves game was so hard work, I'll never know. Now I've calmed down a little bit. Now I'm just happy we've got the win. And you know what? You're going to have some games like that this season. Let's talk about Aston Villa. They didn't score in their first 5 games of the season. They're challenging for the title. Man City were 5-1 up against Fulham. That game ended 5-4. They're challenging for the title. They've lost 4 games this season already. No one's going to have a completely clean record when they go and win the title after 38 games. And this will be a real stain on ours if we are to go and do it. But ultimately, it's a win, and we kick it onto the next game. Sorry for the long answer, but just very quickly on Man City. Look, they won 3-0. It's a very, very impressive result. I watched quite a lot of that game. I was at a family thing, but I kept an eye on it. Palace could have been 2-0 up before they scored. But that's what Haaland does. That's what Foden does. That's what Man City are capable of. And it makes them a constant threat that they can win games even when they've gone through really difficult periods in the game. But yeah, anyway, I don't really feel different about the title race, but I'm still really not happy with that performance at all.
Deluded. I mean, how are you feeling today? Any different from yesterday? Well, what was your initial feeling after the game? Was it relief? Was it frustration? Was it what the hell? Because that was mine.
Turkish and everything in between, man. I think James and yourself have summed it up perfectly. I'll take the result. Obviously, 3 points. As you alluded to, nothing's kind of changed. For me, nothing's really changed in terms of the Premier League race. City are getting their form together. We just need to do the same. When you isolate the performance, I think everyone knows you can't win every game. You can't always get 3 points. We know about the injuries and all of the kind of context around this cluster of games. So I think we can be thankful that we've got a certain platform, but isolated to the 90 minutes. It was poor, wasn't it, man? Football's decided in both ends. I mean, we couldn't move the ball from back to front quick enough. We couldn't create any chances. And even then, there were low-quality efforts. Individually, apart from Saka, I struggled to find any, great kind of performers. We saved our backsides, essentially, in it, like scoring and getting the result at the end. But in terms of feeling differently Turkish, I still feel the same, man. I think the performance is one of the worst this season, really, if I'm honest with you. And I think James made a great point about fatigue. Of course, there's other factors, but I don't understand it. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta would be peed off, man, because you look at his comments, he's quite diplomatic after the game. He spoke about we're passing to the wrong shirts. We wanted to go full gas. You saw the reaction from our players. So I'd say that's the good thing. We all know the performance wasn't good enough, but we got the result. But you do that away on Saturday next week, we're not going to be having those conversations, man.
I didn't really like Arteta's post-match.
Really? He was actually quite honest for once.
I mean, I guess that you could
never really like that Turkish.
No, you could call it honest, but I remember James as well said on his match reaction something about this one's not on Mikel, this one's on the players. I felt very different. Last show out, I spoke about certain players and Gyökeres in particular. Mentioned he has to start doing something for himself. This time round, I feel like this is just one too many now, and not just this season. It's over the years now in terms of poor performance in the final third. And this one is just magnified more because of the level of opposition. One of the worst, if not now going to be the worst team of all time in Premier League history. So, even though he comes out and says, or seems frustrated with the attack and, the feeling was it's taking the ownership away from him because even he's frustrated at what he saw. We give him immense credit for the structure he's built, the defense, the solidity. Yeah. Every time we give credit to this team, it starts with Mikel Arteta, whether it's a signing he's made or whether it's how far we've come in 5 years, 6 years since that defense or this defense. I'm sorry, but the attack is also in his hands. Eze is a player I've seen in this league. Forget Gyökeres for a second. In this league, do dirt. And he's not doing it for us consistently enough. That's a problem. I've seen Martinelli over the years regress as a starting winger. Now do better off the bench, but when starts, still the same deficiencies lie. I see Saka, who had a good game yesterday, generally, right? Because he, against the other attackers, looked a lot better. But it was all crosses, right? And bear in mind, it was 2 on goals that came from his crosses. So essentially, he did win us the game, partly, right?
Yeah.
But I also expected this version of Saka, this many years in, if you asked me 2 years ago, to be taking the game by the scruff of his neck, right?
Yeah.
And maybe just banging one in from 25 yards out, or maybe curling, or he. I just feel like that part of him is still yet to be unleashed, you know, since the injury return. So there's problems all around in attack that, as much as Arteta seems as frustrated as us, you own this problem, Mikel. You know, and I didn't even like the fan thing when he was asked about the atmosphere, and he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell them to, you know, bring their shin pads or whatever." Brother, the atmosphere is you know, the tone is set by the football as well. You know, it's not
Kind
you
of alluded
coming
to
out
that as
before
well.
the game to say, "Bring your shin pads and do this," and the fans come. Yes, that can help, but brother, you also have to start with the point in hand. The performance was so dull against a team that we should have been wiping the floor with. Not that you didn't tell man to bring in their shin pads before the game.
And do you
So
know what, Turkish? The one thing I'd say, sorry to cut you as well,
yeah.
yeah, as to why I kind of agree with what you're saying around Mikel Arteta. Obviously, when we saw the lineup, you would have thought Timber would have been a left back in it, and we was doing the back three thing,
Yeah.
Ben White and Timber, and a bunch of players were getting to some like interesting kind of pockets of space. I don't feel when Miles Lewis Skelly came on, we kind of built on that, or we had a plan away from Ben White being injured. So I hear you with that, but I genuinely just think the guy's just frustrated, man. I hear you, especially around the attack, because we all knew it was one thing signing Eze and Gyökeres and all of these guys, but we've had those creative issues. But I genuinely just feel he's a thing where I've told you, look, we need to go out there and do what we need to do, and we didn't, man. And I hear you. I definitely hear you. I think the players have to take some responsibility. Like you mentioned, Eze, big fan of Eze. I don't think anyone on this planet isn't. But don't you think he's a bit hot and cold? Like, how much do we need the players to do a bit more?
I'm with you, but you know, like, sorry, before Jordan hasn't even stepped in yet. And
Sorry, Jordan.
That's cool.
when I, like, if I compare the last couple of performances, Odegaard in the 10 and Eze in the 10, right? Very different. Like, if you look at their heat map, Odegaard would be next to Zubimendi and Rice, a lot more central, right? If you look at Eze's heat map, it will be between in the half spaces that we all wanted from the new 10 that comes in, right? But it's a mix between not going to him enough or risk the risky passes in between the lines there, or when we do go to him, it looks like his position there is to set up a Zubimendi or a Saka cross on that side. That's one of our biggest assets, right? The crosses, right? Saka's cross and Zubimendi's cross. That's one of our biggest assets on that side, right? So we see it a lot in games. So Arteta can coach that. He's managed to coach a team that get enough crosses in a game to win the majority of them. Yeah. So he's giving. I just feel like it's too coached, and Eze for me should be getting the ball in that position, and the first thing on his mind should be, where's the goal? But instead, I'm seeing him it comes into him just outside the box, and it's a one-touch pass back to Zubimendi. Keeps things ticking, but that is surely instruction, because we've seen Eze at Palace, for example, pick it up there
100%.
and not give a shit because he's the main man. Now, he's not the main man. He's not going to be the main man. Well, I say that. Someone needs to be the main man. Whoever steps up from here to the end, if we win the league, that they will be the main man, right? So he has a chance to be. But I just feel like coaching is part of the problem in the final thirds. But Jordan, sorry, I haven't brought you in yet.
I don't normally watch yours and James's fan cams, right? Because I like to hear your thoughts on the pod, like fresh. So I watch all your other content, but I don't normally watch but I watch both your fan cams. And you know, like in America, they have the thing called show and tell, right? Where you're in schools, you bring something in, and then the teacher says, bring something in, you show the teacher, and you talk about it, and rah, rah, rah. I feel like I'm cheating this week, right? Because so much of what I was going to say on this podcast today, my thoughts, you guys have said on your fan cams. So you've kind of done my work for me, right? You've kind of done, you've carried a lot of the work that I was going to. So I'm going to try not to repeat a lot of what people have heard you say on other platforms already, but for the sake of this platform, it wasn't good enough. It just my head was really hot by the end of the game. I'm really glad, first of all, that nobody on this podcast so far has uttered the utterance, we got the win, that's all that matters. The next person I hear say that, I'm going to put my head through the glass, well, I say glass window, all windows are glass, through the window in my front room here, right? This, we've got the win, that's all that matters. It's such a idiotic thing to say, right? Because it removes...
Huh? You know how many people in the comments are going to say it now to see you put your head through a glass window? I'm just saying.
I know. I know. Set myself up there.
Oh, sorry.
It removes all context, right? Because we got the win. So first and foremost, we've got the 3 points. But I think we can finally now put to bed. You guys know me. I hate cliches. I hate football cliches. And I hope we can put to bed now this cliche of sign of a good team is winning when you're not playing well. I think the Liverpool example this season puts that to bed. But I really hope we can bury that really lazy, stupid, and untrue cliche. Another crap cliche is, it's a derby, anything can happen. No, 9 times out of 10, the form team or the bigger, better team normally wins the derby. Right, so I just hate cliches. But going back to the first one, the reason why this was a problem for me, guys, was that we weren't awful. I don't think we were awful. I've seen us play worse than this. But the flow and the river gone.
When?
No,
I'm not. You don't actually need to give an example, but like, I genuinely think that might have been the worst we've played all season.
Maybe you check me there.
Look, an hour to have a shot on target.
Maybe you're right. It wasn't very, very good at all, right? And the lack of rhythm and the lack of attacking prowess. Okay, they block in the low block. We knew that was coming, so you have to prepare for that. And just watching the team play and have so few ideas and everything coming down to individual bits of impetus, it just isn't really good enough. Now, remove the fact that it's Wolves, because Wolves will go down. It's looking like as the worst Premier League team of all time. So I get why people think you should be smashing Wolves. Remove that, could have been a mid-table team he played. It still wouldn't have been good enough. That could have been, I don't know, who's mid-table right now? That could have been
Tottenham.
Newcastle, right? That could have been any mid-table team right now. That performance was just not good enough, right? And to finally get the goal fortuitously and then blow it, I thought, you know what it felt like? It felt like Southampton all over again 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago? The 3-3. It felt like we've done it again. We've done it again. We've actually done it again. And all right, Saka and Jesus get the winner, and we get the 3 points. But for me, the biggest concern for me, guys, is that it still feels like it's so hard for us to win games. And watching, it's funny, your question at the top, Turkish, to James about Man City, and I think it's the right way to frame this, to bring them into it as well. They've just dispatched Crystal Palace away quite easily. They're getting into their groove. How have they just routinely beat Palace away, and we're struggling against Wolves? Now, I've calmed down 24 hours later, right? Because my head was hot. If we did this podcast after the game, my head was hot, right? I had stuff to say. But with having calmed down, I thought, why is it so hard for us? Every single game we win, we're in 5th gear. Why do we? At some point, you've got to be a team that can win games 2-0 comfortable. We've had a couple this year, to be fair, but every game, especially against Wolves, that can't be a last-minute winner. What's going on? And when I hear we won the game, that's all that matters, that's dangerous, because I'm seeing things in that game for me that will catch us up in March. We'll be back here in March, and yeah, the signs were there, you know, December, the signs were there. We've got to do better. One of the things for me that was really alarming watching, and I was saying it at the time in real time, I don't know if you've noticed it, in the last 10 minutes of the game, Jesus' pressing of their centre-backs and keeper was absolutely shocking. He was 15 yards off their centre-backs. It was clear what the plan was. The plan was get it diag onto their wingers and then lump it into the box. he wasn't pressing their front players. Nor was Trossard, to be fair, but Jesus was 2 or 3 times. He's 15. And people will say, oh, he's been out for a year. Brother, you can press for 15 minutes. You can give us 15 minutes pressing. And the goal was coming. It was so clear that the lack of energy, pressing, getting up the pitch.
Instruction.
Sorry?
It has to be instruction, Jordan.
Yeah,
Well, if it is, that's more concerning. If that's what he's told them, that's even more. I'm watching the game in the 85th minute thinking, why are we letting them have the ball a third into their half when we know they're going to go wide and lump it in the. We were letting them do it. I'm like, this is mad. We don't normally let. He was just letting. So if it's instructions, that's even more. But anyway, I'm going to tactics now. But the point I'm making is that I'm just still seeing too many things that concern me. I'm like, yo, we've got the win. We're still top. But right now, every game shouldn't be a last-minute emotional winner. What's going on? You need some of those, of course. Some games, James in his fan cam made the point about winning ugly some points. And over the course of a season, I think you look at championship winning teams, you get a handful of those. Over a season, you're going to get 3 or 4 of those. Boy, we were not good today, but we got the win. We keep it moving. But I hope this isn't the norm, because every single game, especially this early in the season, it's December, every single game can't be an emotional extraction for our team and our fan base. There's got to be some games that are just comfortable 2-0s. No drama, no last minute winners, no last minute, no just, and that should have been a game that is a comfortable 2-3-0. Let's go home. We've got a week to prepare against Everton. I was emotional. Final point. A friend of mine texted me. He went to the game. He's not an Arsenal fan. He's a Liverpool fan, but he's very calm-headed. I want to just read very quickly what he said to me, because I think in the amongst of us being emotional fans, it's good to hear different perspective. I want to get your take on this. He said, Arteta needs to chill. Arsenal are trying to win the league. Wolves are trying to stay up. In a 38-game season, it's virtually impossible to play to perfection each game. Arteta is kind of making demands of a squad that has never been where they are trying to get to before. The idea that you batter the worst team in the league at home because you're top of the league only works in Football Manager video games. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because that is a fan that's not emotional about top v bottom. Why is it not 5-0? Because whilst I think there's some sense in that, I think we've got to be better than what we were. So there's some middle ground. That's why I'm saying I'm not asking for a 5-0. I'm asking for a comfortable 2-0, 3-1 even. That was
convincing display.
Sorry?
A more convincing display.
Yeah, I don't need a 5-0. I need a comfortable, I need a clean sheet, first of all. How are Wolves scoring past us? Wolves!
What he needs to understand is something that we've seen before, or I've seen before. Just recently, it's cost us points against Sunderland. The exact same thing. Sunderland started applying pressure for the last 15 minutes of that game. Clear intention, get the ball in the box, win some free kicks, and they got something out of it. We went to do it again. We were shit in that game. That's what you need to understand. We were shit. It wasn't 0-0 at half time because their keeper was man of the match. It definitely wasn't that. It wasn't 0-0 at half time because we missed a ton of chances. It was 0-0 because we were shit. Didn't have a shot on target. Didn't have a shot worth remembering in that first half. There's a difference, to it all. That's the biggest concern of it. And the worst part is we were shit for 96-7 minutes. The shittest part of it was when we was 1-0 up. The 20 minutes we was 1-0 up was the most embarrassing bit of that 96 minutes.
It was.
Make sense of that.
It was. And struggling to control game management
and game state. Yeah, I'm not going to have that. Mikel, who's been so meticulous with his coaching and the standard, will see Jesus Trossard not press and not at least be, active about it on the sideline like we've seen. Telling them, what are you man doing? He didn't do that.
You must be right, because I know it was so noticeable. And I'm thinking to myself, even Jesus normally, they press. I've seen all of our forwards. You can fault many of our forwards over the years. There's plenty of faults. One thing you can't fault our forwards for is not pressing. And I just thought, why are you letting them just lump the ball forward into our box? It had to be instructions. They had to be told to not do that. And I'm like, Jesus, the injury thing, I'm not buying it, because if you've been brought on for the last 15 minutes, you can surely press for 15 minutes. Like I didn't get that, and that's where the
think
goal
they
comes from.
stopped. I think they stopped pressing because they lost confidence. Like honestly, I think as the game went on,
Dropping deeper and deeper.
yeah, they were just like, "Oh my word, we are playing so badly." I think the players felt it. So they were 1-0 up, right? Just get in a shape. Oh my god, just get in a shape. Just shuttle side to side. You know what, people? Didn't bother me that Arsenal weren't pressing Wolves, really. I know it sounds silly, like as in from 1-0 up. They didn't really bother me. Two things bothered me more. One, how unbelievably useless we are on the counter attack. Do you remember in the first half when Lewis Skelly came on? The first thing he did was he took a touch, he drove in field, went lovely.
Martinelli.
He rolled the ball to Martinelli and Rice.
Took too long to. Yeah.
Oh my word, the movement between them two was
Awful.
embarrassing.
Awful.
And you know what I was
And
thinking
the
of,
final
like,
ball.
and I'm not even talking great sides here. What would Pogba and Rashford have done in that situation when they were playing under Ollie? What would Ericsson and Son have done under Pochettino? I haven't mentioned two great Premier League sides. I'm talking sides that had pace, that had some drive in their team, that just knew how to exploit space. We're embarrassing on the counter attack. So I'm not bothered that when we went 1-0 up, we weren't pressing all over Wolves. Because, guys, for context, this week break between Wolves and Everton is our first 1 week break or midweek break of football, shall I say, since August the 25th, obviously not excluding international breaks. So for context, Arsenal have played every 2-3 days.
No, but James,
Relentless.
Trossard and Jesus were subs. They were
No,
subs.
but we're talking about as a collective, because there's no point one or two pressing because they're feeling it and everyone else around them not carrying with them. Like the team got into a shape because of a lack of confidence, which sounds crazy, but that's where they were. And maybe a bit of fatigue, which like I said, I don't really give them that, but cool. My biggest issue again was the poor counter-attacking, but how often Wolves were picking out players in between the lines. Marino's come on to sit next to Declan Rice, and the two of them are meant to shuttle with the wingers in front of the centre backs and not allow space. Wolves kept pinging passes into the pockets time and time again. I was sat there going, "You're not go on."
But sorry, I just had to check. But you made the point that the midfield also changed, bro. Marino and Odegaard both came on, so they should also, like, you see what you just said about the attack not pressing. Maybe it's because of tired legs behind. Those legs were quite fresh, and then we've got the machine in Rice there, who that reason stands for him. He might be tired. He runs around so much, but it was a fresher. There was fresher legs in that second half.
Sorry, God, no, I don't. But I don't think fatigue. I've said a few times, I don't think fatigue is what it was. I think it was confidence. I think it was like, honestly, I think the players looked embarrassed out there. I think when they got the goal, they were like, okay, and then they were just like, they just got in a shape. But they were still picking players, but they were still picking passes between the lines. They were still having 30, 40 passes between them, just keeping it moving. So we didn't even look organized from that perspective, people. Like it was a really, like, look, I'll forgive them and move on. I will, but it was quite an embarrassing display from us.
They gotta beat Everton. They gotta beat
no
Everton.
choice. And a better performance.
Easy. That's what they have to do. That's that game, massive. City's goal difference is better than ours all of a sudden. Just 2 points between us. Deluded, I want to ask you, because I think James mentioned it first, and then you mentioned it too, about, all right, we won, nothing changes. And Jordan mentioned a lot of fans saying, that's all that matters, winning. But in terms of the nothing changes thing, and it's a question all around, but let's start with Deluded. I think something's changed in the past 2 weeks. I feel it inside myself. I mean, this is on the internet for up to 100,000 people to watch. It doesn't feel much of a safe space, but let's use it as a safe space and say my confidence 2 weeks ago through forget the roof, through the moon, right? My confidence now, very different. If what James is saying about, embarrassed with themselves and, they knew there was, effing it, that's even a worry. I feel like we've lost a bit of that aura. And I think you need to, when you create a wave, right? And that's what we did this season. We created a wave because we're coming off the back of a poor season last season. We didn't challenge for the title. It was poor. So we had to create that wave. Liverpool had to ride the same wave they created last year. They fell off their wave early. We created ours. We're riding it. We've fallen off that wave. Sunderland, it can happen. Chelsea, it can happen. Aston Villa, it can happen in isolation. You've put 3 of them together, it's bad. And then this one, which is it's a win, it's 3 points. It can't happen. It shouldn't happen. I don't want to see it happen again. So I feel like with Man City also picking it up, because if we had held on against Sunderland and actually done what we should have done against Chelsea, right? I don't think City win all the games they've won up until now. That's the kind of question I'm asking, because not just as a fan has something changed inside me in terms of, I still think we'll win it, by the way, but my confidence ain't what it was. And that's why I never dismiss City. I dismiss Liverpool, Chelsea. I never dismiss City. But I just feel like Pep also, if you look at his press conferences in the past 2 weeks, they've also toned it up a little bit, right? It's not just Haaland scoring anymore. Foden's picking it up. Cherky's picking it up. Their attack is ticking a lot better all of a sudden. I think that's because of us as well. I think us dropping points against Sunderland, not being able to beat Chelsea. You know, we need a big win against a team, and that's Everton this week, to get that aura back a little bit, right? Because it takes a little while to build up an aura. You can lose it in a week. I remember 03-04, United FA Cup knocked us out. Chelsea, Champions League, knocked us out. Boy, our aura was on the ropes. 2-1 down Liverpool at half-time. Henry steps up. He steps up, he takes it. What was it? Hat-trick? Yeah, hat-trick, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. Now, I'm not saying we have Henry in our ranks now, and that's not even the question. What I'm saying is, don't you think that's changed, though? The perception of Arsenal outside looking in, and maybe, like James said, inside as well, if that's the effect it had yesterday against Wolves.
It's a weird one, man, because a week's a long time in football, and looking at some of the games you guys said, fans, the external fans, let alone Arsenal fans, were saying all different things. So on one hand, obviously the table, our form, everything's going to fluctuate. I am kind of looking at the points. Honestly, I do think, on the other hand, we just need to get back to basics. And that's where I'm looking at this week when we go to Everton. I want to see an inspired side. I want to see an attacking display. I actually think we need to get back to basics defensively, because if we take Sunderland, for example, we all know how the game went. But reality is, if we are the best defensive side in the Prem and in Europe, regardless of the context, you have to see it through. I do think whether it's been having that quality in the final third, defending amicably, I just think everybody individually needs to pick themselves up. Honestly, this is where we wanted to be. Turkish and Cole, you're right for mentioning City. We all know what City have done. I've also said, I think this season, whoever wins it will be the most inconsistent title winners yet. So honestly, I think we need to thank God for our platform, but also we need to get back to basics, because, there's only going to be an isolated amount of times that Wolves result is going to happen. In relation to our confidence, I can't lie, Turkish. I do think their confidence is going to be hit in the same way, in that when they're playing amazing, they're obviously going to be positive. But I don't think we've got time for that, man. This is the pressure cooker we wanted to be in. Everybody knows what we're aspiring to do. People need to step up now. When I was doing a watch along, I actually said before the first goal went in, games like this, because we all know we played shit, etc., etc. It's not that I'm saying it's a mark of champions. I need to see individually how much do you lot just want to get the result, because at the end of the day, we're going to look back in May with X amount of W's, and they got the win. But they need to go back to basics, man. We need to get back to winning our individual duels, looking inspired. I think even the defensive partnership, I think it was it was the only Wolves goal. And I go back to the Villa game, Hincapié playing everybody on side, not to just put him in it. We just need to go back to basics. To answer your question in short, Turkish, of course your confidence is going to be hit. When we're playing well, when we're moving how we're supposed to move and individuals are shining, it's great. Right now, it's a thing where we're getting results and, nothing's changed. But at some point, you're going to get what you pay for, in it. Performances and results are going to correlate. And City, it looks like a different world. We just got to keep going, man. We got no choice. This is what we wanted, didn't it? On to Everton.
Yeah, Jordan.
So yeah, can I just flag a couple of performances? If sorry, I don't know where you're going next. I felt this was the sort of game where someone like Eze really needed to show why we brought him in. We've all agreed and spoken about how he's a moments player. He's a guy that's going to just do something off the cuff. And I don't think it was for the lack of trying, but I was really disappointed with his output, right? This was the sort he got to start this game. By the way, we've got to make a decision on Eze or Odegaard. I think going forward, we've got to just decide who's going to be our creative hub and just kind of run with that. And then, do you know what I mean? The other guy's got to be the guy that backs him up. I don't like this chopping and changing. I personally actually think we should explore the idea of, when Havertz is fit, going 2 up top. I would dangle the idea of going, but that's another discussion. But Eze for me was quite disappointing, was because this is the sort of game when it is quite tight, when we're not creating too much. I need him in those pockets, just active and playing balls through. He did one pass really early in the game to Saka in the first few minutes. He slightly overpassed it, and Saka couldn't get to it. But it was the only time he got on the ball and he broke lines in the final third. I need him to get the ball in the half turn and just get active, get shots off, drop the shoulder, beat a man. I need a little bit more. I don't need him to run games. I don't need him to run the game, but I need him in those kinds of games to be the guy, because the one-on-one, that's what he's good at. That's what he's good at. We ain't gonna get that from Martinelli. We know Martinelli can't do the one-on-one thing. He's that. Forget that. Saka, I thought, did it quite a bit, but we can't just rely on Saka. And I need Eze to really. I'm not buying this new club, but you're here now. You're starting for Arsenal. I need to see a little bit more from him. And Saka, I think, is worth mentioning, because on the last podcast, I flagged Saka and said that I thought it was right to take him off in the Villa game because he was booked. They were trying to get him sent off. But there were some people, I think it was Dylan, was saying, no, keep him on because you never know. Saka can do something out of nothing. Saka, that's the sort of game I think Saka doesn't get enough credit for. Because despite...
He never got GA.
Not just even that, but despite not being explosively great, Saka throughout the whole game actually played really well.
I couldn't agree more, John. I thought he was brilliant.
In the first half, he beat his man at least 4 times. He got a ball across the box, 5 yards out, waiting to be tapped in the first half. Add on that, the 2 goals we scored came from Saka. I just think Saka's not explosively sexy. I think people just think he had an okay game. Saka was really good. Saka was really, really good. I've seen Saka play better than that. I think he can play better than that. But I just think Saka's so consistently impactful, but in a non-obvious way, I think we just take his performances for granted. A bit like with Saliba last season. It got to the point where Gabriel was the guy. But Saliba's just so consistently good, we just don't notice it anymore. I think we're doing the same thing with Saka. So I want to flag Saka's performance because I thought no one talked about how good he actually was. Despite the 2 goals we scored coming from him, people are like, oh, but apart from that, what did he do? And I'm like, no, watch the game. He beat his man like quite a few times in the first half and the second half. He was active.
But you watched my match reaction. I went on for like 3 minutes about Saka. You
did.
But Jordan, I had a very similar frustration to you, man. I tweeted 18 minutes into the game, something like that. I tweeted Saka's on fire today. Now, look, maybe on fire was going a bit far. But man, I was getting absolutely battered in the comments. What's he done? Huh? What do you mean? He's had no impact. I'm sat there going, come on, guys. Like, this guy has got his fullback on toast. Timber and Gyökeres should both have scored from Bukayo Saka making it happen. And the thing is, I've seen Bukayo Saka have better games than that. Of course I have. But you just knew if anything was going to happen for Arsenal, it was going to come through him. Lo and behold, he's the one who delivers 2 crosses with some actual quality, and we go win the game. It's not his fault that Gyökeres and Timber didn't put in the back of the net. We'll talk about Gyökeres as well in a little bit. But I agree with you. I think Saka deserved some big credit, not because he was like a 10 out of 10 perfect performance, but because where everybody else absolutely shit the bed for whatever reason, he was the one who actually was like, guys, what are you doing? And kept himself together in the attacking sense and made things happen.
Do you know what it is? Sorry, deluded. Do you know what it is? Saka's 6 out of 10. This might sound weird, right?
Yeah.
Saka's 6 out of 10 is better than other people's 6 out of 10.
You're right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
His okay performance is better than everybody else's okay performance because there's things he does that are just not massively wow, or it's not a goal, but he's constantly a threat. He's always a threat, and I just think doesn't get enough ratings, which links to my final point. We just accept, and we have accepted this narrative of the last 2 or 3 years that are right. I saw a stat during the game about how more dominant we were on the right versus on the left, and we just accept this narrative that Arsenal is so much better on the right. And I'm like, why do we accept that? Why do we just accept that we have to keep going down the right because that's our better side? How about we have a system that's better on the left, or just buy a better left winger? I don't like this idea. We've just kind of accepted this idea that, oh, well, everything's got to go on the right. I think opposition teams know it, and that's why they focus on that side. I look at the teams that won titles in the years gone by. Beckham and Giggs were equally as effective. Robin and Duff, equally effective. Even Arsenal team back in the day, Lundberg and Pires, equally effective. Why we just accepted that the left side's just like, oh, if we can't get it down Saka's side, try that side. We've got to do so much better, I think, in getting that left-hand side more effective. Since Granit Xhaka's left this club, that left side has been absolutely atrocious. Trossard has done his best this season, but generally that left side for me is atrocious. And we need to have that dual threat. It can't just always be on Saka.
But Jordan, do you know what's really, really worrying about that is the left was starting to get it together. And the difference was bringing in Eze, who floats more as a 10 than Ødegaard does. So listen, I defend Ødegaard more than most. But Ødegaard has major tendency to drift to the right. Now, to be fair, Ødegaard didn't start this game against Wolves. So I'm talking more generally here. But for whatever reason, in this game, Eze didn't maybe float as much as he normally would. And when he does, you notice when he was playing with Marino, it'd be Marino who'd drop out to the right at times, and Eze would be the highest player. And so you'd get certain combinations down the left with Calafiori bombing up and down alongside Trossard. The best we've looked down the left is when those two have played together. And then Eze will sometimes come over to that side to help out a little bit. And Rice will sit a bit deeper to allow those guys to do that. I do worry a little bit because I believe the future of our midfield has Ødegaard in it with Eze on the left. But I do worry about us becoming really right-sided biased as well. On Eze, just very, very quickly as well. I agree. Like, I don't think he was as bad against Wolves as others said, but he was far from great. Like, he really wasn't particularly stand out at all. I feel like he's a little bit misprofiled, and we've talked about this before. Do you know, if you compare like what Man City have to what we have, I would say we absolutely do not have an Erling Haaland. We don't have anyone who can remotely look anything like Erling Haaland. We all agree with that, right? In terms of what Phil Foden's doing, do we have anyone as good? I don't know. But Eze can produce the things that Phil Foden produces. The kind of goal Foden scored today against Palace, that kind of moment where it's not really happening. They've done a bit of defending, but you know what? They just need a bit of respite. They need someone to pull out a moment when that opportunity comes, that finish from outside the box. Eze can produce that. He did it 3 times in North London Derby. He's done it countless times for Palace. I wonder how we platform him, because Man City rarely start Phil Foden in central midfield. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll play a 6 with him and Bernardo. But he's actually playing in a floating front 3 role with a Shirky or someone. And I want to see Eze given that kind of license. I don't want to see him being the 10, looking to knit play together, find the clever little passes. He can do that because he's quality. Foden produces that too. But I want to see Eze with that freedom to express himself as the finisher to moves, as the game killer, the game winner. And I feel like trying to get him in the 10, dropping out the block to try and make things happen, doesn't really suit his game. I want to see him in the carnage, in the chaos, like he was against Spurs when he won us that game.
But I'll roll it all into one. I think similar can be said about Saka, though. You know, I think he deserves praise for yesterday because he was the difference, and compared to the rest of the attackers, he was definitely the one that seemed more on it, right? But I don't think that was a tough thing to see him either compared to the other attackers. But Saka's at a point now where contract extension talks are going on behind the scenes. He's no longer star boy. He's not a boy no more, right? And Eze is coming to his team. Essentially, when we're talking about an attack, if I ask you all, whose team is it in attack? It's Saka's team, right? So he even when you speak of Foden's goal, for example, I thought of Saka. And that's not to say Saka doesn't impact games, right?
Yeah.
Because a cross that leads to a goal is impacting the game. But I just don't see enough of that step up yet, especially when contract extension talks are going on behind the scenes. Because the next contract is 350K. And if we're saying he's had a really good game when he's had 4 good crosses, then he's not worth 350K.
No, but I think, sorry, I've got to push back on that. I think that's unfair, Turkish. I think in isolation, if you look at Saka's contribution yesterday, just in isolation, that is a very, very good performance. The problem is everyone else isn't doing their job. If my winger can beat his winger 4 times in the first half, 3, maybe 4 times in the second half, get an assist and a goal, that's a 7 out of 10 performance. If Martinelli did half of that, We win that game 3-4-1.
Yeah, 7 out of
Eze
10. Let's
does
call
half
it.
of that.
Let's call it a Mahrez performance. Yeah, is that fair? Let's call it a Mahrez performance. Mahrez was never the main man at City. This is what I'm saying. What is Saka? Is he the main man going to be the main man, or are we saying this is the ceiling? A really good game.
Nah,
is
he's the main man, man. It can't be the ceiling.
no, I agree with you, Deluded. That's why people better not think I'm getting onto him or being. This is probably me rating him higher than most here, because if he is the main man, I need to see a bit more than that against the Wolves side. Because at the end of the day, as much as his crosses were good, it was Wolves that fucked it all up. You know, they put it in their own net twice, right? There was a lot of fortune behind it. So if one of those don't go in and it's a 1-1, we're not going to be sitting here saying Saka had a very good game. We might say he was the best of the lot, but that's because we won. Now we're saying it was really good and he was the difference. I get that too. He was part of that.
But that's
I
my
just feel
point.
like if you're on the way to be the star man, if you're on that way to 300, 350k a week, you should be the one grabbing the ball by the horns. Eze's walked into your team. Gyökeres has walked into your team. Martinelli hasn't stepped up in 2 years. That's why Saka is the man. So yes, it was good, but I need more. Like against Everton, who do you think I'm looking at to be the main man in attack again? Saka.
Kyle.
That's not me saying, all right, I need Saka to have 4 good crosses in that game. No, I want Saka to cut in, drop a shoulder on a man, and just bury it. I want him to do a 1-2 and get that right foot into action again. I want him to put that polishing touch to what he's done over the years, which is propel himself to the point of here. Big contract coming, carry the team on your back to a title. You are the main attacker. That's why I'll stop short from saying very good game. I'd say good, yes, better than the rest, definitely. But again, he's part of an attack that I need to see more of. This goes to every single player in that attack. When starting, it goes for every single player, aside from Trossard and Martinelli, who coming off the bench, in and out, they've been doing their thing. Every other player in the attack, including Saka, needs to do more for me.
I don't know if Arteta, who by the way, Arsenal play some really good attacking football this season, and I think we've got a lot better with our combinations. But I actually think now that the players are coming back and they're fit and available, I think I don't think he knows what he really wants to do with those options right now. I don't think he knows whether he. What's that, Deluded?
No, I was gonna say that's a problem in December. Then if he doesn't know, man, he's got to have a rough idea. I can't lie.
Major problem, because let's hash out the quick debates that are there, right? Erdegaard or Eze in the 10. Erdegaard and Eze, but then what do you do with one of Rice or Zubimendi? Eze on the left, but Trossard's been the better player. You could go Trossard on the left, but Martinelli's got maybe more pace and has got more work rate than the three of them. Gyökeres up front, but Jesus is looking sharper than him right now. But Jesus isn't exactly a clinical finisher. I mean, while I give Jesus credit for the 2 appearances he's made, he also missed the header. Like, as much as the Wolves player put it in the back of the net, Jesus missed it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's kind of part of that as well. But let's face it, for 2 returns, he's looked good, and credit to him. Madueke is looking very, very, very sharp. So is Arteta going to force him on the left, just to get him in the team because Saka's ultimately never going to get dropped? I don't think he has any clue. When Kai returns, he's going to want to play him because he loves Kai Havertz. So I don't think he knows what he wants to do and how he wants to platform any of these players right now. He's got a whole week now to train a little bit. Apparently they're taking 2 days off, and I think they need that. Sunday, Monday off, and they go back into training on Tuesday. And I think he needs to really, really, really get to grips quite quickly with what he wants to do with his attack. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't rotate, because I've been asking for more rotation, so let me not be a hypocrite. It just means Man City right now know what they're doing. It's Haaland up front, Foden and Shirky floating behind him. That is the identity of their attack. And a few years ago, it was Aguero or Jesus up front with Sterling and Sane on their strong foot out on the touchline. That's how he shaped his attack before. Arsenal Arteta need to decide in something that feels more consistent and more momentum building. What is our attack? Are we going Madueke, Saka as our 2 out-and-out wingers? We're going to bring them on the inside, but therefore you've got to get Eze in the team. Like, there's quite a few things to think about there for Arsenal. And we'll see. I mean, look, I'm not worried because we've played some brilliant attacking football this season. But it's going to touch stale in the last few games.
Deluded.
54 minutes. Sorry.
Everyone fit Deluded. Everyone fit, healthy, strong. Who's your front four, including the 10?
But in general, or like with this season and form and all that stuff included.
Right now, going into Everton, everyone's fit, everyone's ready. Your front three plus 10. When I say everyone, I mean Havertz is fit, Jesus is
Oh,
less.
for
I mean,
Everton.
everyone's fit. What is your? That's off what James said, because I agree with him. I think Arteta's still working it out, and that's a problem within itself. If I actually ask if we bought a left winger, would we have these problems? I think the answer will be no. If we had a Rodrigo, for example, or a Semenyo, we'd know what the lineup is. But I think, yeah, over time it hasn't worked out like that. So front four, everyone fit. What do you think?
Easiest one, Turkish, is obviously Saka on the right. Left hand side, current form included Trossard. He's one of the first names on the team sheet. When it's all said and done, he's probably been our most consistent attacker. Up front is a techie one. If I'm honest with you, and we're playing Everton tomorrow, I probably am going to lean towards Kai Havertz. But this Gyökeres thing, there's got to be some level of light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm going to go Gyökeres. I'm going to go Saka. I'm going to go Trossard. The 10 is a toss-up because I'm not necessarily convinced with Eze and Odegaard. With Everton away in mind, Odegaard starts. So Odegaard, Trossard, Saka, Gyökeres through the middle for me.
But Havertz, if he was available.
Yeah, Havertz, if he was available, my back's against the wall and I need 3 points, man, because I just feel with Gyökeres' form, listen, I want it to work for Gyökeres. One thing I liked when we signed him is, of course, he's not an Arsenal striker. He's not the most prettiest of footballers, but I thought that would have made Arteta change because he's not an Arteta striker on paper. And I think he's a limited striker that we're not getting the best out of the limitations, if that makes sense. That being said, though, and I know Gyökeres has been injured and things of that ilk, I do think Gyökeres is at that point now where you have to make something happen from yourself. I don't think he's aggressive enough as I thought. And yeah, he presses, he works the centre backs, and he does all of that kind of stuff. But for me, that's irrelevant because I can say Jesus does that. I can say Marino does that. And I can say, I'm missing someone else out, but I can say the front four do that. I need a bit more from Gyökeres, man. Like even, I think one of you mentioned it earlier, there was a ball that Saka put in. And to be fair, Gyökeres was in the box. I think in Portugal, if he arrives at that area at that specific time, he probably makes that. But the Premier League is quicker. And unfortunately, nobody cares. Like nobody cares that about the system and all of these things. We need a bit more from you, Gyökeres. And I it's disappointing if if Arteta generally in December doesn't know his best attack, and of course he needs to rotate and things, then I think we're in problems because we had question marks about us in an attacking sense last season. And I always equate it to when you're buying Gyökeres, when you're buying Eze, that's like me going Selfridges and buying the greatest of designers. But when I'm putting it on in the mirror, I don't know how to swag it all out. Arteta needs to know these answers and he needs to decide. If that is the case, you need to find that sooner rather than later. Goals win games. We need to be decisive in both boxes. We're not defending well enough. We're not playing to our attacking capabilities. Sort it out because we've got a good platform and we could achieve something in May, man. But yeah, that would be my front four, Turkish.
Just sticking with you, sorry, just for a sec.
Go on.
There was a debate summer. Arteta wanted Sesko, Berta got Gyökeres. Do you agree with that? Because we touched on it last show where we said surely, everyone was involved in the deal. Like people wouldn't be swayed by fan opinions, and I think Madueke proves that. Madueke signing, everyone's going mad. They still signed him. So do you think Sesko was the preferred option for Mikel and he just ended up with Gyökeres? But then you consider the price tags weren't too far apart. What was the reason that it didn't happen then? Or do you think that in the end, all in, they decided this is the striker that we need because he is different to what we got and we need different?
Do you know what, Turkish? I think when you look at transfers, they've probably had a list of targets on walls and compared all the pros and cons, money, how the agents like, etc. So I think everybody was loosely fluid in whoever is going to sign. Of course, I do think maybe Arteta wanted Sesko, Berta pushed for Gyökeres, but it's not to say that Arteta didn't necessarily rate Gyökeres or Berta didn't necessarily rate Sesko. I think they both had pros and cons. If you were to ask me, we've been looking at Sesko, or the credible journalists have said for the last number of years that obviously we've wanted Sesko. So I'm inclined to believe he probably was the club's kind of favorite, and Berta's come in. Maybe he's kind of levied against that and things of that ilk. So I think it would have been Sesko. But for me, I've always maintained, regardless of whatever striker arrived, we're not set up to get the best out of a striker. And I think we all can agree. We'll accept that in today's day and age, strikers are marked out of games. They've got to drop deep. They've got to work the channels. They've got to bring other people into games. But I do think Arteta needs to look at what he demands from a striker beyond the obvious. Because even Pep Guardiola, on paper, Haaland isn't exactly a prototype of what you would imagine a striker for Pep. But at some point, he considered I needed a cold-hearted killer. So I think Sesko, man. If I'm honest, I think Sesko. But that's why I was happy, because a lot of people did sit there and say Arteta gets his way, he gets all his players, and I wouldn't have Gyökeres down as an Arteta player. So I guess I just thought different players, kind of different results, if that makes sense.
Yeah. James, was you about to say something?
Yeah, you know, you asked a question about what should be our attack, right?
Yeah.
All fit. I want Rice and Zubimendi, and I want them sitting in front of the back 3, 4, and build up whatever it is. Like one as a distributor, one as a destroyer. Both of them can get up and down the pitch. They've done that really well together this season. Get Erdegaard, not drifting out to the right, pulling out the block, all that. Get him where he was against Olympiacos, receiving the ball in central spaces, high up. He also did that in the first couple, 20 minutes or whatever against Forest. Did that in the first 20 minutes against West Ham. Did against Newcastle. Do you remember that ball he played into Lewis Skelly? That was from the left side. Get him floating in that 10 space. Get Eze on the left, because I think Eze needs... I know Trossard's the form player, and I'm not saying you do this immediately, but I think this is what we need to build towards. Eze on the left, I think he's got something about him as a touchline winger every now and again. He can drift on the inside. And then what you've got is players like Saka as well, who want to receive the ball. Gyökeres just make runs, attack the space, attack the box, get on the end of crosses, make those little darting runs in behind the back four. When you do that, you're stretching the game and you're creating the space for Eze's, for Erdegaard's, for Saka's to do the kind of things you want them to do, Turkish. Because while you want Saka to play the 1-2s and drive into that space, it's only going to happen if those players are making those runs to create it as well. Like, you can't run into traffic. Do you know one game I really enjoyed from Gyökeres, which is so weird because he didn't really play that well? You remember Fulham away this year? We won 1-0. Remember when Saka just rolled that ball in behind for Gyökeres and he had that first time shot at the keeper? That was in the first half. And then Trossard played a first time ball over the top to Gyökeres in the second half, where he kind of wrestled round defender, should have scored too. But I just love like running forwards. Just run forwards. And what you do is you give those players the ability to play those passes. At the very least, they might pick up something behind you if you don't make it happen. That for me, Rice and Mendy, Saka, Erdegaard, Eze, Gyökeres up front. Run with that as your kind of base, and then adapt. If Jesus is looking really sharp and Gyökeres' form continues like this, you might have to make a change. Trossard's playing so well, I don't think you can run with this immediately. Eze might have to come out of the team for a game or two. But I want us come January to be looking at something like that. That for me is the better balance of all the profiles we have.
I think Arteta's obsession with control and dominance in games is the reason why, even though you're right, run forwards, there is never really space because we were so slow in transition, and optimally would like to just control and I don't know, slowly but surely break a team down. It doesn't suit a Gyökeres. And I guess when we're looking at the situation now, the attack, let's not have another season where we finish second. We look at the table and it's because of the attack more so than it is defense. Arteta's got to let a bit something go, because I said 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game weeks in, I can't really get onto him until he's missing chances, right? Missing gilt-edged chances, right? He still probably hasn't had many gilt-edged chances. Now, slowly but surely, like I said, honeymoon period over, and it's time to do something yourself, for goodness sake now. Yeah. Just do something that I can latch onto. That moment in the box, I mean, you called it wrestling. I think the touch was beautiful. He rolled him nicely, and the finish was poor. He dragged it.
Was this the one against Wolves? Sorry, second half.
Yeah, the second half. Yeah.
I liked that from him as well. It was good centre forwards play.
Give me some of that. Give me some of that sometimes, because I'm not saying you should have scored that. You should have got it on target, but it was a moment that I can say, oh, close control, rolled, shot. Within 2 touches, he's got a shot on goal. I like that. But it's his only real moment across the season so far that I can say quick, precise, and it would have been beautiful if it went in. If that nestled in the back post, that would have been a beautiful goal, his best goal yet. But I think Arteta's also got, before Jordan jumps in, because I know there is no defending. There is no defending the situation with Gyökeres with Jordan. But I think it all plays into each other's hands, and I think it starts with. Everyone said if we sign Gyökeres, Arteta has to change it up a bit. But everyone also admitted that Arteta has to change it up a bit, regardless of who he signs. I don't think he's got that bit right for me to fully judge the other bit. And that goes for everyone out there, right? Aside from maybe even a Saka it goes for, even though he's been here a long time now, he knows what it is, he's used to what it is. I still feel like there's a bit that Arteta can. There's still a handbrake on an attack. There is still that handbrake word. It's back. It's in attack. There's something going on there. It's stuck. But Jordan,
5 shots in the first half. Sorry, 5 touches in the first half. 5 touches in the first half. I bet on Gyökeres, William Hill, big up William Hill. The odds, I've forgotten the odds, to get 3 shots on target. I'm not even betting on goals. I'm not even betting on goals, gentlemen. You didn't even get that. 3. I said I put a tenner on 3 shots on target. It's Wolves. I thought it's Wolves, isn't it? Get some shots off. Don't even give me goals. Don't even give me goals. Some shots, I beg. Couldn't even get one on target. I don't know how much longer we do this for. I don't want to come on this podcast every week and just bash the guy. He's my striker. He plays for my club. I want him to do well. But the mere fact is he's not good enough. He's just not good enough. He looks too big and bulky. His movement is horrendous. He's too slow. His one attribute, strength, is negated in this league because in this league, everybody's strong. I don't see a clinical finisher. I don't see someone that's great in the air. I don't see a great link-up guy, a channel runner. All these things I'm just not seeing. If I was to answer your earlier question, Turkish, my forward would be Marino. It'd be Marino. Then Havertz. Then Jesus. Then Gyökeres. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing is that? The guy that I trust the most up front right now is a midfielder. It's so bad. I don't know what we're doing with Gyökeres anymore because he's got no confidence. Clearly cool, but I don't think it's a confidence thing. I just don't think he's good enough. He's not good enough.
What about tactical?
Tactical? Well, Mourinho gets goals in this team. Jesus got some chances in 2 games.
But Mourinho has an art that is so unique. Just to be there in those moments and also have a high percentage of putting it away. That is very unique in football. I think it's hard to compare to him because it's not like Mourinho plays up front and we create an abundance of chances and we look wow. No, he plays up front and if he gets a chance, he'll probably score it, which is better than Gyökeres and better than Havertz. I agree with you there in terms of the feeling, but it's not like we play any different. And you mentioned you made a bet on Gyökeres. Brother, we had 2 shots on target in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Both shots on target, Declan Rice.
Mm-hmm.
None of our attackers had a shot on target. None. Not the 60 million signing in the summer. Not the captain that's been here for how long? Actually, no, he wasn't. Sorry. Not Saka, who's been here for how long? Not the 60 million new striker we've got, and not the Brazilian winger that's been here. None of the attack had a shot on target. Crazy. That's crazy.
I was going to say, Jordan, I appreciate what you're saying, and I wasn't. I was so frustrated with Gyökeres' performance, but I'm not sure your stats there say as much as you think they do. I know the 5 touches in the first half was poor. I've just looked. Haaland averages 22 per game in the league. That's 11.5. Like it's not. I mean, it's low. It's not like a massive difference. Like
no. But sorry. Just before you go on, I could accept 5 touches in the half if I know I was getting 2 goals in the 90 minutes.
And Haaland gives you that. I give it. Yeah,
Haaland can get away with minimal touches because you know, James, at some point that monster's getting at least 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, but Haaland's finishing and frequency of goals is off the charts. I just looked as well. He averages 2 shots on target per game. Like it's unbelievable how efficient he is. My frustration with Gyökeres wasn't 5 touches in the first half. It's what he did with those touches. It's that they were heavy. They didn't take him in a position to hold off the defender at any point. My frustration was that it's 2 weekends in a row where Declan Rice has whipped it across goal against Villa in the 93rd minute. Saka's whipped it across goal at 0-0 against why do I keep forgetting, against Wolves? And he's not on the end of either of them. These are great crosses, my friend. Like Victor Gyökeres, this is the. You're right, Turkish. I haven't seen him blunder a load of big chances, but I would argue that if he gets to those, which he should, then those are really big chances.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been more frustrated with him. I don't really mind these on the periphery of games. I don't really mind that. I think that's his style. I mind that he does so little with the moments he does have, or let's say has been doing so little since Chelsea, 45 minutes against Villa, Bruges, and now this game. That's where I've been frustrated.
All right, let's look at Everton then and go around. Who starts up front against Everton? Deluded.
Gyökeres.
James.
Backing you, Victor. Let's do it. Gyökeres.
Last chance to lean.
Yeah, he's testing me.
I think I know Jordan's answer, and that's I get it. I understand it,
Not
but
the worst approach.
Well,
yeah,
no,
that
but is it
last-
Marino?
Marino, Everton away.
You say yeah, but he started at Sunderland and we drew. He started at Chelsea, we drew. He started at Villa, we lost. So what do you want? What do you want Marino starting away from home for the league for us?
James, the bar is low. I'm picking the best of the worst.
We've got 4 options and none have really grabbed
But
that
I
shirt.
Best of
don't-
the worst. The bar is
I don't
low.
know if he's. I know. I hear that, Joe. I hear it, but
He's probably
hear
it.
knackered
Look,
as
I'm
well.
not
saying
I'm working with.
I'm not saying there's no merit to it. I'm not. And look, maybe I'm sounding more exasperated than I should because fair play. He is the best finisher at the club, but we have just seen away from home. We have had no control, no impetus, no presence, no like back to front threat when Marino's been up front. At the very, very least, Gyökeres makes defenders think. At the very least, they might go, oh, he's just peeled off. We should probably go chase him.
When he comes off, teams starting to go further forward as well. That's the one thing I'll give Gyökeres, if I'm honest.
But how long? How long before?
Yeah, no, it's not a
defenders
cop
start
out. It's just something that goes back
No,
into
no,
game
but I'm just
management and
saying, what
controlling
you're saying
game
is true.
states, which is on the gaffer.
What you're saying is true, but I'm saying how long before defenders start thinking we can let him go? We can
Yeah,
let
I
him
mean
run.
that becomes a worry,
Yeah,
doesn't
true.
it? He just
I
do
don't
it.
think-
Make
you
it
know
work,
what?
man. You bought the striker.
And so no
So
one will go Jesus. No one wants to give Jesus to start. Another week of training. He'll have been back in the match.
Not
day
unless you're
squad
going
for
left
2
wing
weeks.
for me, Jesus.
Ooh.
Jesus,
Guys, I think
Gyökeres,
Martinelli's
front
got
three
away
on
with
Monday.
murder in this podcast, by the way. Can I just
Hmm?
say that? I think
Martinelli is official. He's not a starting winger.
Yeah.
I've told
He's
you that a
crazy,
long
man.
time ago. That's why this season I look at him more favorably. You've come off the bench and you've helped us. Thank you. When he starts, I expect 0, and I get 0. In fact, that one moment he had in the second half, I was like, "What?" And then he went and fluffed his lines. Either get it to Gyökeres or make the keeper make a save. He hit it wide. But James, I'm used to that with Martinelli. Now I don't
Yeah.
expect when he starts, it's a quiet day on that side.
That's how
solid
bad
game.
it is, James. I'm with well, you know my thoughts on Martinelli.
Yeah.
I don't even consider him anymore. He's not even a consideration. Like we're past that now. We know where we are with him.
I think because I always like to give a bit of grace to the players who I like. I do think he is. I think his attributes is suited to a striker. I don't know why. I feel like that's the position he should be in. I think we'll sell him one day. He'll play up front for someone like Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone, and he'll ball out. But who knows?
Hey, Martinelli.
Yeah, I could see him
That
going
guy
somewhere.
would be lucky to go Celta Vigo, bro.
No, I think James is right.
He ain't going to Atletico, man.
His decision making's got to improve.
No, but you get my premise. Like, I think he could go to like another good side, be
And look
used
like a different
better,
player.
and look
Okay.
brilliant. Like for example, I think Jurgen Klopp, in the way he used forwards, would have got so much out of Martinelli. I think he'd have
Like
got
him,
so much out of that kind of the electric version of Martinelli. So I'm not trying to hate on the player, but even that one moment that you said he did well against Doherty made the decision for him because Doherty went in for a challenge he wasn't going to win. So Martinelli took a touch, whereas there's space, ran into it, and then blitzed it wide. It was appalling. Like it was like the one good thing he did, and he put it wide
He's
anyway.
only good when he's instinctive, Martinelli, unfortunately.
I actually agree with that. When he hasn't got much time to think, that's why I think he's a
Cash
better
money.
striker. Get on the end of things, be the finisher to moves, make quick runs, not a lot of time to think about your decision. When he first came through under Mikel Arteta, because I know he came through under Emery, but when he started to get the run under Arteta, he was an electric winger in 22-23 as well. He's been found out. He's been totally found out. He's lost that explosiveness. It's not there anymore. Fullbacks know how to deal with it. So he needs to reinvent his game. I think he's better on the inside than he is the outside. But still, you're playing against Matt Doherty and Wolves, and you could have no impact on the game. I was so disappointed with it. I was as disappointed with him as I was anyone on that pitch. I thought because where Gyökeres was poor and barely touched the ball and did very little, at least Martinelli saw the ball. Like, at least he had the opportunity to try show something. Like, come on, I need more from him, man. Trossard came on. See how he was picking out Declan Rice in the pockets, Lewis Skelly underlapping.
Yeah.
Like, Trossard's gone, all right, you're not going to play me centrally. I'll just be a number 10 off the left wing. He's literally playing like a 10, like picking out passes, playmaking. And Marte's not even giving us that when you can't beat our fullback. Like, I was so disappointed, and I like the guy. I really think he's going to leave Arsenal and actually do well. I genuinely do, but it's just not happening anymore for me at Arsenal. I'm sorry.
I'd probably go Jesus up top, you know.
I wouldn't be mad at that, but I just
wouldn't be mad.
I don't have any faith in him either. Everyone's getting excited about Jesus because we know he's a top player, but we know we're going to get 8 games out of him and he'll be done. And also, because the bar is so low, we're clamoring for Jesus. But let's not pretend like Jesus is the answer with his soft shots and I'm not backing Jesus because I just don't think there's a player there anymore.
We might get a better Eze out of Jesus, in my opinion. Maybe, I think if Eze starts on the left wing, Jesus likes to float there. Jesus 1-2s, Eze 1-2s. They've both got that raw footballing, you know, street ability. I think it could. You know what? That's my front three: Saka, Eze, either side of Jesus. Odegaard behind them, Rice, Subi, and the defenses, whoever's there.
This summer, just bring me a striker, please. Just summer, please. Can you get me a striker? Since Robin van Persie, I've not had a serious striker. I know some will say Aubameyang. I didn't love Aubameyang for various reasons. But for me, since Van Persie, we have not had a serious centre forward. That's a long time.
There's no serious...
Van Persie's son is playing for Feyenoord. What's going on?
There's not many serious strikers out there, man.
Yeah, the striker market's rubbed, man. We should have got Hugo Ekitike in hindsight, if I'm honest.
We actually did something that makes sense this summer. Who's the top scorer? Who's the handful of top scorers? Let's go for one of them. If we're going by superstar stardom or like that sort of ability, the only viable one is Julian Alvarez. And how easy is that to get from Atletico? You're looking at 130, 140.
Does he even want to leave Spain?
If that, yeah. Right.
Okay, just for look, an hour and 17 minutes, we've well and truly gone in on the team, and rightly so. They deserved after that performance. For the sake of asking it, are we all overreacting a little bit? I'm just asking the question. I don't necessarily think we are. You know, this team hasn't failed to score goals. We did score at the Bridge. We did score 2 at Sunderland. We did score at Villa. I think we've left goals on the pitch in certain games. It was 2-0 against Brentford. It was 3 in Bruges. Like, are we? Is there any part of us that maybe are just looking at a little bit too?
Nah, man, because we know it. ARTETA knows it. The players know it, man. In their hearts, there's more to give, man. Football's decided in both ends. In the last few games, we haven't defended well enough, but we knew going into this season we had issues in a creative sense. Yeah, there's been injuries and players haven't been allowed to settle and build relationships, but it does feel like there's chinks in the armor and it's a bit of deja vu. So it is a mixed bag. Maybe we do, James, have to kind of ease off a bit because, you know, we maybe are going harsh, but nah, man, I think if you want to win a Premier League title and go to a realm that we haven't been, then you've got to apply logic, but you've also got to be harsh because being good isn't good enough. You've got to be great to win a league title, especially when you're looking at City getting their act together. So I don't think so, man. I think there's been a lot to give in all of the moments we've been disappointed with, even though we all know here you can't win them all. Just need to go and be great now, man. Just need to up the gears, man. Up it.
Well said. Yeah, good answer.
I don't think we're going over the top. I think we're analysing what it's about standards, right? And we won the game, got the 3 points. But as Deluded said, if we're going to win this title, we've got to be able to put inferior opposition away at home more convincingly than that. We'll have harder tests. I mean, that's probably on paper the easiest game of the season. Wolves at home is probably your easiest game of the season, right? And we just won it. We've got to be better. I think off the back of the Chelsea, Sunderland, Villa, that kind of period, we've now got to go on a run over Christmas where we assert ourselves. We need to get Saliba, Gabriel back in this team ASAP. Because if we win this title, we're going to win this title through our defense, not our attack. We're going to win this title through clean sheets, not relying on goals up top. So we need to get back to where we were a month ago and get back into that group. Get through the Christmas period. We've got to beat Everton. We have to beat Everton, get through the Christmas period and see where we are come January. But for me, it's about starting a run. And that's and clean sheets. I'm really gutted that we conceded the goal in this game. We shouldn't be letting in goals against, even with that back four. We shouldn't be conceding goals. Get back to clean sheets, get back to being hard to play against and winning games and go on a run. There's no time to blink. City are on us, but this is not the time to be blinking and getting scared. Keep winning games, they will back off. If they smell fear, they'll get into their groove.
Jordan, you know, I think you said something earlier that I think is so unbelievably true. You know, like, why do we go life and death with teams? Why are we not killing games off? Why does it feel like every game is 90 minutes to the end? I need to look into. I'll actually do the number crunching on this. I bet you that we could prove statistically that Arsenal have played more intense minutes than Man City this season.
Definitely.
Probably.
I think you could absolutely argue that Man City have had some games done by maybe minute 60, minute 70. And so they've had games where for 20, 30 minutes, they've had to coast over the line. I think Arsenal, I can think of two. Leeds at home, maybe Forest at home as well. I think I might need to look back. But basically, I think Arsenal, most games, even when we beat Olympiacos 2-0 in the Champions League, even when we beat Brentford 2-0 the other day, finding like a 90th minute second goal. Like, I have a feeling there's just been a lot of games for Arsenal that have gone like really see it out all the way. Bayern included, that was 3-1. Tottenham included. Do you remember Tottenham? Even though we were 4-1 up, it felt like we just had to maintain like that energy throughout because it was a derby, because you never know what can happen or whatever. Yeah, even Atletico Madrid, like, I don't know, maybe not, to be fair. No, but that's not true. We took off Gabriel. I don't know. I just feel like City, and I have to look at the numbers, have been able to wrap things up a bit quicker.
All right, well, this weekend coming is a big one. I mean, City got a favourable home fixture. We've got a tough away fixture. So the tables have turned. This week, it was the other way around. Game week 17. It's difficulty level higher for us, in my opinion. Here's how the table looked before the Wolves game. Here's how the table looks after the Wolves game. So, a quick explanation for the video watchers. Jordan predicted 3-1 and Eze, so he only got 1 point. Eze did nothing. I predicted 5-0. 5-0 and Saka. I got 1 point for the 5-0 and 2 points each for Saka. Wait, is it 2 each for each assist?
Oh no, I need to double check that. I'll be honest. I'm genuinely not just saying this. I don't think we said it was per goal or
Okay,
assist.
so-
I think we genuinely said it was if they got an assist, whether it was 2, 3, or 4.
That's
But
why I've just
Am I
asked
still
that.
top then?
No, you mad?
no. But I'm gonna double check that.
No, I
That's
think
it.
you're right. That's why it popped up in my head as well. I'm on 17 points, people. I'm not on 19, even though that's what it says on the screen. I'm actually on 17. I did that incorrect, but I pulled myself up on the mistaken. We move.
That's all
I've
good.
done it in the background quickly, so it is updated. So here we are. There we go. All right, so I am top on 17 points. Saka got an assist, got me 2 points, and the correct result got me 1. Jordan second on 14 points. Correct result, 1 point. James, correct result, 1 point. He's on 10 points now. And the guest is last on 5 points at this moment in time. So in terms of Everton predictions, I'm going to go first. And I'm going to say 2-1 win. Saka. Starman. Jordan.
Everton away. I'm gonna say, oh man, this one worries me, boys. I think it's gonna be a draw. I'm going for a 2-2.
Do you want to do on the squad list or?
I'm gonna go Marino.
Marino, James.
Double M.
Oh, fuck it. 3-0 Arsenal. Gyökeres.
Wow. Energy.
No, I think they need to come out with a major response. They've got a week to just get themselves together. And I don't think we've become a bad team where suddenly I'm going to just start stressing about them week in, week out. I'm going to back them.
What you've just done is when a poker player just says all in.
All in.
Yeah.
Deluded.
And they normally lose all their money, by the way.
The house always tends to win. Hopefully not Saturday. Prediction and Starman deluded.
Prediction 2-1 Arsenal. Starman. Declan Rice. Everton away, man. Declan Rice always pulls it out of the bag, man. I'd love it to be the attackers, but Rice.
No, that's not a bad shout.
Rice
Cool.
from a set piece, man.
There's the predictions. Me and Deluded have gone 2-1. Jordan's gone 2-2. James has gone 3-0 Arsenal, and we've all picked someone different for Starman. So there will be change come next show. And on that note, let me bring the overlay back and round off with comments of the day. Everyone got that?
The comments were very, very good, to be fair. Just in terms of like the love for Ashley Walters, like there was so much excitement. Look, honestly, sometimes like life just gets busy. I don't always get to dive into the comments immediately, but I was really kind of curious. Like, I don't know. I just what people thought of the show, and like I knew there'd be excitement for Ashley Walters, but they all went absolutely nuts. I know it's the most liked one, but the Anne Hathaway comment absolutely killed me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, her and her love for Trossard. I think we've got to make that happen. Do you have links there, Turkish?
Yeah, come on, put a call in.
I don't, to be honest with you. And shall I tell you a funny story? When I saw Anne Hathaway suggested in the comments, I thought to myself, does she support Arsenal? Because I think she'd be good. I thought it was the person that hosted the Weakest Link.
And
That's Anne Robinson. I had to search it and saw it all out. That's Anne Robinson. So, yeah, I mean.
Oh, no, I'm just.
Could you imagine her on the show? Jordan, you are the Weakest Link. Goodbye. And then he doesn't come back again. That would be the greatest ending for someone on a panel show in life.
I think you've got to bring her in just for the sake of it.
We'll try, man.
That's unreal. Are there any other like really high profile like Justin Bieber's a massive Arsenal fan? I'm sure he wants to come on the pod.
Man said, and what's an that's wow.
And Robbins.
Wow. It's
have
late.
you seen have you guys ever seen like old footage of like that kind I think it was that show and like other shows like it? They were brutal back in the day.
Yeah.
Brutal. Like
the Weakest Link with Anne Robinson and the rappers from America. That one was one of the best Weakest Links ever. If anyone has time, search Weakest Link rappers. Hilarious.
I see that one.
Hilarious. Oh my god. Listen, TV back in the day. I don't know if you don't seen Ali G interviewing Trump. Yeah, but that oh
we'll
my
never get that nowadays.
Bruh, it's all mad. It's all mad. But yeah, comments of the day. I've got one here, and it was listen, the love was mad, like James said. But I've got this one from the official AK saying, can't lie, the fact we're not even that many podcasts in and seeing how goated it is. This is serious quality. Love for the love people, and it's only looking like this because of the community, right? The numbers are from the community, the love is from the community. So love for the love, man. It's because of you guys that people like Ashley, people like Deluded, people like Sharky, whoever else has been on over the first 15, 16 shows, because it's still very early, have come in and taken part, because we're growing something special here. So Love for the love, people.
I've had a really good one, but I've lost it. But I'll try and find it for next week. But I've got one here. Whoever's doing the bookings, their Christmas bonus can't come fast enough. Well, that was a good one. I like that one. And yeah, a lot of people picked up on my unfortunate pause during during the pod. A few people timestamped it. I didn't mean to say what I said, but I got a bit excited, and you know, life happens, isn't it?
Don't say you got a bit excited.
Oh wow, yeah. So Turkish, wrap it up.
Just,
People don't even know there's episode 5's coming out of the Diddy documentary, and Jordan's in it. But yeah, we'll leave that one for another day. Hey, deluded.
Oh no.
I deluded. Love my bro. I let them know, man. Let them know what's good, what's not good. And yeah, we'll keep it moving. Am I getting cancelled?
No,
I'm
man, I
not.
don't think you're getting cancelled, but
Alright.
bloody hell, man. Nah, Turkish and the panel, it's been amazing, man. Big up the chat. Appreciate you lot for having me. Like you said, man, you lot are very early in this. You're building a great platform. Onwards and upwards, man. In terms of myself, tap into Ludaguna on YouTube, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Big up everyone.
the link's there, people. You don't even have to type it in. It's in the description. You click it, you
Nice party
subscribe.
can,
And the socials, you know what it is already. Deluded Guna, pop up X, IG. You do TikTok as well or not?
Started, you know, yeah. I mean, I find TikTok a bit weird. I upload on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but yeah, man,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I got a TikTok account, so yeah, same
no more.
users, same all that stuff.
Light work. Won't be the last time, people, but show him some love. Big up Deluded, big up Jordan, big up James, big up the community. Love for the love as always. And yeah, we'll be back hopefully as a full panel come Sunday, Monday. Make sure you're here. Subscribe, notification bell on, like, hype, subscribe. Love for the love.